Welcome to Nerd Jab number 2. Thank you for joining us for our weekly bit of fun. We had a great turnout last week. Thanks to everybody who listened, and hopefully we don't hit the sophomore slump this week. On this episode, we celebrate the 30th anniversary of a very, very near and dear gaming console known as the Game Boy. We also talk about the Nintendo Switch and what may be coming next. We speculate about what Rockstar might have right around the corner for us. Brandon had a homework assignment. He very gleefully reports back on that. Plus, we make a homework assignment that we all get to sink our teeth into for next week. We talk about the disaster that the Galaxy Fold is, and a little bit of wrestling stuff as usual. So, you guys are going to have a lot of fun listening to it, hopefully. We had a lot of fun recording it. Again, like always, if you want to sponsor the show, go to nerdjab.com, look for information on there, or you can contact me directly, Joe at nerdjab.com, to get on and sponsor us and help support us. Without further ado, here's this week's show. Enjoy. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Evening.
How was everybody's week?
Fan-fucking-tastic.
Pretty
Tiring.
good. Tiring, suspense.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's been
A
working a
lot
lot
of
of late nights.
Yeah, he has.
Well, in that line of work.
It's true.
Well,
I figured he'd go a little early. If you don't get the right corner, you're pretty
Yeah.
much screwed.
Yeah.
You got to get
Not
there
literally,
first, man.
though.
not in a good way.
All right, so show number 2.
Show number 2.
No less awkward
Numero
than
dos.
show number 1.
Yeah.
1 week in from our first recording, and we're up to an average of about 5 views a day.
Yeah. No, it's pretty incredible.
Awesome.
For our first episode, I'm pretty excited about it.
It's a humble
Yeah.
start, but it's a start.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't wait for the eventual nosedive when people realize, oh, this sucks.
Yeah. It's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Probably sooner than later.
And that's
Well,
my
we're
hope.
always-
I just do that myself. I just set myself up for failure, and then you're never disappointed.
That's
There you
true.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aim low.
Well, now that we've talked ourselves up, let's get into the content this
Are
week.
you fucking ready for some mediocrity?
Okay, so I mean, this seems like the logical place to start. Today is a day that millions are celebrating. It's a very important. You call it a holiday. I mean,
We're not doing religion, Joe.
I know what holiday this is.
It's a very, very important day for all of us to recognize and for all of us to acknowledge.
Oh, I
And
know.
that is today is the 30th anniversary of the launch of the Game Boy in Japan.
Hell yeah.
Yes. You thought I was going to talk about the whole eggs and...
No, I knew what the fuck
Yeah.
you were talking about.
Yeah, I was,
I
gonna say, I was
did.
picking up
I
what
was
you were
worried.
putting down as soon as you started talking.
Oh, I'm excited.
and zombies. Anyway.
It was a huge day.
Yes. On this day, 30 years ago, April 21st, 1989, the Game Boy launched in Japan. It wasn't here yet. But, I plan on doing just a little history lesson with you guys today.
Cool. I'm for it.
So you tell me what all of this means to you. I had a Game Boy when I was a kid. I'm
Same.
sure everybody in this has had some Game Boy of some sort because there's been what feels like a billion of them.
Yep.
Not really.
Really?
My brother had a Game Boy. Guess what I had?
Game Gear?
Tiger Gamecom
Oh my God. Okay, we're going to talk about
with the
that.
fucking touchscreen.
All right.
See, here's what I did. Last night I went online and I looked at a bunch of different handhelds because, I mean, there were a ton of
Yeah,
them back
there
in
was.
the day.
Oh yeah, it was like
And-
the big thing.
Yeah, definitely. And the Gamecom was one that I've read about. I remembered it, but I never had one.
Neither did I.
So,
I don't even know what it is.
well, there you go. We will probably I would make fun of you, but honestly, there's probably a lot of that.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
But we're not here to talk about the Gamecom. We're here to talk about the Game Boy. I was getting ready to go into how, Tiger made it. Anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Spoiled your thunder.
yeah, but that's fine. That's worth spoiling. So it should be noted the Game Boy is not Nintendo's first foray excuse me. I'm trying not to burp.
No
I'm really-
burping this week,
Yeah,
Joe.
I'm really gonna try. If I do,
Got
I
some
apologize.
good feedback last week.
Yeah, I've already caught myself twice.
And I've already dropped the F-bomb, too.
Yeah,
so
that's
we're
what I'm
just
saying.
right out the window there.
And by the way, we do hear your feedback.
We do.
Yep.
So
We trying.
anyway, the Game Boy is not the first foray into handheld gaming by Nintendo. Of course, the Game & Watch is the first of that. I think the biggest difference would
I
be
do know about that.
the Game & Watch. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Game & Watch was a single game. They had a bunch of different ones.
Yes.
They were
Yeah.
more like the Tiger games in that one game was one console.
Yeah.
So Game Boy should be credited. I don't know if they were the first, but they were definitely the first with a widespread audience to have
The first mass market.
interchangeable cartridges, game packs, as they
Yes.
call them.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe Atari had the first. The first handheld. And it came with default of Pong.
I am not aware of an Atari handheld.
Oh
That's what I was getting ready
yeah,
to say.
oh yeah, and it actually came and
I
actually.
mean, at least an early one. I have vague recollections of a later thing. but-
Not to sound combative, but you're actually wrong. It came
Okay.
out, I think, right after the Game Boy, and we'll get into that one. That's worth because we should bring up competitors, and
Yeah.
everybody goes to the Game Gear. That's probably the one
Oh,
that was
man,
the closest.
That color
Yeah.
display, though.
Well, just because I think Nintendo and Sega back then were such huge competitors
They
that
were the
nobody
big
really
thing.
thought of anything else after they came on the scene.
Well, I mean, after the game crash, the #83
Yeah.
market crash, they were the two that were kind of the most noticeable.
Fucking E.T.
Everybody. I hope you like it out in the desert. So, of course, the features of the Game Boy, for those of you who are listening who don't know what we're talking about, which I'm sure there may be some out there.
There might be.
It was a green tinted dot matrix screen, and it had the directional pad, 2 buttons, a speaker, a single speaker. By today's standards, it was very boring. But back then,
Oh, it's fucking mind blowing.
I'll tell you what.
yeah.
If I had a Game Boy, even the brick, and had Pokemon Yellow, I would be playing it right now.
Yes.
Emulate it.
I tried. Yeah,
I would. To be honest, though, I would rather have it on the brick just for nostalgia sake.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I put an N64 and an SNES emulator on my phone recently.
Oh, nice.
For games that I all own.
Of course.
Wink, wink.
you should probably stop talking about it.
Right?
Cut it out.
I just put the emulators on, guys. I don't
Yeah.
have any ROMs.
Oh.
I just like to open them up and play nothing.
Yeah, I mean
It's
that's
just
what
all
I do.
homebrew stuff.
It's
Yeah.
homebrew, yeah.
I actually tried to find my Game Boy Pocket. It's out in the garage somewhere.
Is it really?
Yeah, I really wish I had had it.
I really wish I had mine. I lost it a long time ago.
I have a little yellow Game Boy Pocket, which
Was it the Pokemon version or the Pikachu version?
no, it was just a little
The
yellow
Game Boy
Game
Color?
Boy Pocket. No, just a
Oh,
Game Boy
no,
Pocket.
Okay.
It's the one that between the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color.
Okay.
So it was not the biggest improvement was battery life. Yet instead of running on 4 AA batteries, it ran on 2 AAA
Yes.
batteries.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
So it was very power efficient, and I think that it had a gray screen instead of the green.
Well, what's
okay.
really cool is the original brick Game Boy, and I'm going to keep referring to that so
Sure.
we differentiate.
Yeah.
Ran on the 4 AA batteries, like you said, but it had a 30-hour battery life
Yeah,
because there was no backlight.
and that
Oh, that is true. There was no backlight, but for some reason I remember those things sucking through batteries. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I
as
know you're probably thinking about your Gamecom.
That's true too. But honestly, it's probably more the fact that we just scrounged any battery we could find from
Yeah.
around the house,
Yeah.
and Mom would be like, "Where's the fucking batteries out of the remote?" So we had like some 3-year-old
where's the batteries out of
batteries.
something else?
And Mings is
Dude,
like, I
Mommy's
don't
toys.
know.
Stop it. We are not talking about that.
Wait, what? What did I miss?
He made a dildo vibrator joke
Anyway, ew,
about my dear mother. You bastard.
you son
Yeah.
of a bitch.
Well, now that the show's come to a standstill.
So, and this is where, talking about battery life and things like that, that's where the competitors come in, because around that time, see, everybody thinks that the Game Boy was like this big, groundbreaking thing. What people don't realize
no.
is that there were 3 main competitors to it: the Game Gear, the Atari Lynx,
That's it.
and the Turbo Express, which was basically a handheld version of the TurboGrafx 16
Yeah.
from NEC.
See, I don't know that one.
The
Shit.
Yeah, yeah. It was actually shaped while the Lynx and the Game Gear were horizontal in shape. It was very much like the Turbo Express was a lot like Game Boy. It
okay.
kind of went
Yeah.
upright. The Game Boy was the most technically inferior out of all of those systems, but it was the most successful because of its battery life, its build quality, and its accessibility. It had a massive library.
Well, they were tanks too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, there was a story that came out not long ago. There was a Game Boy that was discovered that had been through some war.
Yeah.
I think Brandon's pulling it up on his phone.
actually-
Bosnia
yeah.
or something like
It
that.
was so it's actually in the New York World Store, which I've been to, and it's
Yeah.
fantastic. If you guys ever get a chance, go to the Nintendo store in New York City.
I got to get to New York first.
Okay.
I have no desire to go.
Road trip for Nerd Jab.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might do it
The
then.
Game
I'll
Boy
fly in
sits-
and meet you.
Yeah, exactly. It survived the Gulf War barracks bombing,
Okay.
and it is mangled, but it still works.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen it. Like the case is
Yeah.
just completely like
Melted.
and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
charred, but the thing still like powers right
Yeah.
up with the the old Nintendo coming down from the top of the screen and
Yep.
the ding.
Yep.
Without getting into the other competitors, and I feel like we should talk about that. We should talk about what came after this. So, of course, the Game Boy Pocket, which is the one that we've talked about, came out in 1996. The Game Boy Light came out in 1998. That was in Japan only.
Say I didn't know about that one.
It was the monochrome Game Boy with a backlight.
Oh, okay.
And it
yeah,
was
okay.
very similar in shape to the Game Boy Color, from what I
gotcha.
understand. And then, of course, the Game Boy Color was released 1998 in Japan. Of course, the big difference here being color.
Color,
there was
yeah.
still no
Yeah.
fucking backlight,
Right.
but it could do color, and it could play the previous.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
was
Yep.
backward compatible. That's
Yeah.
what I'm looking for.
So you had colors, but if you were still on that road trip and the family had to wait for those
Street lights.
street lights because
Yeah.
you know
Street
your
light, yep.
dad, if you
Don't
turn
turn
on
on
the
that
overhead
light.
light, he
Yeah.
can't see anything
Yeah.
behind him.
And what's funny is I say that now. I can't see anything.
Well, they got backlights now.
You've turned
so
into
fuck
your
it.
dad.
I did.
Actually, I'm looking at pictures of the Pocket and the Color, or I'm sorry, the Pocket and the Light, and they look almost identical. So I might have been talking
Most
out of my
likely
asses
it was.
now.
Who knows?
Yeah, just with a backlight. That's
Yeah.
all. And then, of course, the massive thing you could put on it, the Light Boy.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
that
Wait, was that the magnifier too?
Yes,
It had
it
the
had-
magnifying screen,
Yeah.
It had
and
a
then there was
screen.
like the folding out speakers you
Yes.
could do as well, and then you had like a whole case for the bottom where you
Yeah.
had more tactile like D-pad and a joystick more. And, oh my god, it looked like it fucking went to Chernobyl.
any kind of portability went out the fucking window.
It did.
with
yeah.
it.
You had
Yeah.
to have a whole fucking backpack for that thing.
And I was going to bring that up, and then I saw the picture of it. So by the way, a lot of this I'm getting from Wikipedia.
What?
Yeah.
When did the Game Boy Advance come out?
That's what we're going to talk about. So the next step would be the Game Boy Advance family of consoles. The Game Boy Advance in Japan was launched on March 21st, 2001, and in North America on June 11th of that year.
See, if you said all this stuff, I would have said like 96.
Nope.
It
Yeah.
feels so long ago.
does feel so
I
long
mean,
ago.
granted, 2001 is a long time ago because we're fucking old. But
Think about the graphical
Yeah.
difference between the original Game Boy and the Game Boy Advance.
Yes.
yeah, no,
I mean,
I understand
that's,
that.
but
but
So, of course, that was a big leap forward. You had the
Huge.
color, you had the backlight, and then obviously the better graphics and things like that.
Didn't they
Numbers.
change they went from vertical to horizontal
Yes.
at that point?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it did. Yeah.
Until the Game Boy Advance SP came out,
Okay.
which was in February. It was on Valentine's Day, 2003. It actually came out about a month later in North America, which is really not that much of a gap.
Right.
No,
Usually
not really.
see more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the biggest difference is that, well, the two biggest differences. One, it had a rechargeable battery built in.
Yes.
So it was, I think, the first one to have that. And it folded. So it became very, very small. And then you could
I remember that.
open it
Yeah,
up.
I remember those two.
Yes.
I wanted one of these in the worst way because they released, that was around the time that I really started getting kind of the nostalgia bone for gaming, because they brought out one that looked like an NES. The top of it looked like the top of an NES, and then you
yeah,
opened
okay.
it
I
up,
see.
And then the control portion of it looked like an NES controller.
Oh, man.
And it came around that time they started launching NES titles for it. The original Super Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong. Super Mario Advance 4 was a port of Mario 3.
Oh.
Nintendo was always good for nostalgia.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of the start of it, to be honest with you. I mean, that was really where they started being like, we could double dip on this shit that we were doing 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're still doing it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's because they made
And we
buttload
love
of
them
money.
for it.
Yes.
I know. I was working at Target at the time when that came out, and I worked in the electronics section.
Holy shit, I forgot you worked there.
Yeah. For a minute.
That's been it, yeah.
I left there to work at Nirvana.
Oh, yeah.
That was like everybody in high school's like dream place
Yes.
to work in the mall at Nirvana.
I got to work there. I started there the day after Thanksgiving
That's awesome.
and
That's
sold
the perfect fucking time, isn't
and
it?
sold a tongue ring to Tony Stewart.
Did you really?
I'm not kidding.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Tony Stewart, you basic.
Is it really that awesome?
No,
Guys-
the fact
guys
that you worked
kind of
at
a dick.
Nirvana was awesome.
I did, yes.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah,
great
that's
time.
better.
I loved it. So yeah, the SP. So moving on. And then
Derailed.
around the time, I know, dude, like all of a sudden I have memories flooding
Yeah,
into my
yeah.
head. That was a very, very crazy time. Around the time that the DS came out, the last Game Boy to be released was released. At that time, it was the Game Boy Micro.
Oh yeah, I kind of forgot that they, don't
I
call
don't-
them Game Boys anymore.
I don't even remember that
Wasn't
one.
the micro very unsuccessful?
It was, I don't want to say it was unsuccessful. It was actually it wasn't Game Boy successful, but it was
Yeah.
still it did pretty well. 2.42 million shipped. So
Okay, that's not
bad.
bad. Yeah.
Considering how late it was in the Game Boy's life cycle, that's a pretty respectable number. It was launched in Japan on September 13th, 2005, and 6 days later in North America.
Wow, that's a fast turn.
Very, very fast turn. The biggest difference, other than the size, obviously, was a very pocketable Game Boy. It was not backward compatible for Game Boy or Game Boy Color titles.
It was probably too small to take the cartridge.
Well, no, not really. I mean, if you look at the Game Boy Advance, those were too small to take the cartridge, really,
Yeah.
but they still did. They would just jut out of the bottom.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah.
But they wanted this to be like really, really super portable.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it goes on to DS, which we don't have to get into all that. We're
No.
talking about Game Boy. But
Now, question, because this does go with Game Boy. Where in this, and I don't know if it'll show it there, but Super Game Boy.
I was actually going to go to peripherals.
Sweet.
Well, we'll start there. The Super Game Boy obviously was a cartridge that you could plug Game Boy games into, and it would play them on a Super NES.
Oh yeah, I was wondering what you're talking about because my mind went to Superboy.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
was the
Yeah,
model
kinda.
of Super Nintendo that way.
Yeah.
June 1994.
Wow.
And it did not play. And then there was a Super Game Boy 2, which I didn't even know about. I think this was just in Japan. It was exclusive in Japan
Didn't it make them colored too?
to a degree.
Yeah. Well, it was
yeah.
like almost like a straight, almost like a palette swap. Not really. The
Yeah.
color was there. It would just superimpose colors on top,
It would give a little bit of color to it, nothing real impressive.
like Atari levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. It's like an overlay of color.
The adapter could support up to 64 colors for the border because it added a border.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it was a different aspect ratio, and then 12 colors for the screen. Static screens could display all 10 colors at once. That's like title screens.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Nintendo and 3 different colors.
Yeah, there you go. So, and then as far as other peripherals, and I'm pulling this from the Game Boy Micro because Game Boy Micro couldn't use any of these. The two big ones were the Game Boy printer and the Game Boy camera.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
geez,
very
yeah,
first
I remember that
selfie.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love those.
Yes.
It was a thermal printer, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was insanely popular because
Yeah, it
I mean,
was.
nobody was going to give a kid a digital camera,
Right.
Because digital cameras were
Expensive.
god awful expensive
So,
at the time.
yeah.
So
Christ.
that was a way to get those in their hands. So obviously a very, very long legacy. So we're looking at 89 through the last Game Boy. The Micro was discontinued July 2008.
Wow.
So pretty good run.
That's a really good run.
Yeah. I mean,
And something I'd like to say, just because I've never been big on the handheld gaming experience. I go somewhere, I don't need to game in the meantime. It's not something I've been to. And so, like, if there's anybody out there that just seems, it's irrelevant. If you go through any like top 10 list of the best-selling consoles of all time, it is littered with Game Boys.
Yes.
They sold a ton of them. So, I mean, it's relevant as hell when it comes to games.
Yeah.
And for good reason.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
they were, again, they were not always the most technically advanced thing you could get your hands on, which Nintendo's known for that. They've always been almost a step behind
Yeah,
on how
you're right.
technically.
But they work.
Yes, they
And
work.
that's something Nintendo's always been known for as well,
Yes.
as they work.
And the games are fun.
Yeah.
At the end of the
exactly.
day, I read a book. I've mentioned it on the live stream, Console Wars, and one of the mantras at Nintendo is the name of the game is the game.
Yeah.
That may have been Sega now I think about it.
But it still makes sense.
But it does make
Yeah.
sense. I mean, and that's what it comes down to. That's how these companies were most successful. You can throw all the gimmicks that you want, all the cool factor. As long as you got the games, you are going to be successful.
Oh, yeah.
And
See, if somebody in marketing had been on their toes, they could have put out like a Game Boy Classic or something loaded with games for the anniversary.
well,
That would've been sweet.
there are talks of it
that
happening
would be cool.
possibly,
Oh my God.
possibly this year.
I would be down
That
for
would be
that.
amazing.
See, that's something
Yeah.
because like all the the classic consoles that we have right now, I'm like, oh, I emulate, so I don't really give a shit. I mean,
Right.
they're cool,
Yeah.
but I can get all the games I want.
How much fun are Game Boy
um,
games on emulators, though?
Well, no, that I haven't even tried, but like that is something I'd probably look into getting.
Yeah.
exactly, just because
And
of
I
what
think
it
it
is.
should be the brick.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I want it to be monochrome.
Nobody's.
No,
Yes.
Yes.
I don't want it to be.
Yes.
I do.
No.
Here's the thing, and this is how they could double dip: have it be monochrome, and then eventually one day they release a Game Boy Advance with
Yeah.
with all the
And they just keep upgrading. Honestly, I would not get the Game Boy Advance, or the
classic.
the
if,
classic.
if they did it.
right. I would get the Game Boy for sure. It was a huge part of my childhood. Huge. Game Boy Advance is when I stopped really getting into Nintendo games, and started moving towards more
Big boy games.
Big boy games.
Yeah. And see, what I think they should do with this, as far as a Game Boy Classic, would be make it look like the old one, have the best titles kind of stretched between, the original Game Boy to maybe whether the SP or whatnot.
Right.
And then just give it a nice screen that can either show you a monochrome game from the Game Boy.
Oh yeah, like
Or-
more like a
yeah.
historical like.
Well, no,
As
it's
they-
the
they
screen, and
changed.
it can show you.
Yeah.
And, like one of the older games will play like it is on Game Boy, and that one's monochrome. But you also have ones from like if you want to play Pokemon from SP or something,
Right.
that one would show like you were
I'd
playing
be
on
okay
SP.
with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would be okay with that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
and that way you don't have freaking 8 different classic
Right.
versions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this should be stated. The timeline of releases between the Game Boys. The Game Boy Light and Game Boy Color came out, and well, here let's start here. Pocket, 96. 2 years later, the Game Boy Light and Game Boy Color. 3 years after that, the Advance. 2 years after that, the SP, and then 2 years after that, the Micro. However, the Game Boy, the OG Game Boy, it was 7 years.
yeah,
7
Yeah.
years that they had that, and it still sold like hotcakes. So that tells you the staying power of that original OG Game Boy.
Yeah.
That whenever somebody says Game Boy, what's the first one that you think of?
The brick.
wow.
The Pocket.
yeah.
That's because we're old.
yeah,
It might be different for somebody who's 20 years old right now.
yeah. They're like 3DS.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Brandon's kids.
So moving on, the 30th anniversary Game Boy. A lot of wonderful memories.
Happy Nintendo
nostalgia.
Day.
Yes,
Yep.
that's worth celebrating on
It is.
Hell yeah.
on this day. Anyway, don't look at me like that.
Moving forward.
Moving forward. And I mean, this kind of relates to Game Boy. There is possibly a new Switch coming out this year.
Yes.
We've kind of hinted at this at previous episodes, and of course, there was originally rumored to be two. There was going to be the more portable version, and then also an enhanced version with better graphics, an updated processor, because the processor in the Switch is notoriously old. It's a 4-year-old processor, Tegra.
Still works great.
It still works fantastic, yeah. I mean, but they're gonna try to find
gotta
ways
keep up.
to, yeah. The enhanced has been shelved at least for the time being. I would imagine that they are probably going to hold that until they see what Microsoft and Sony does next.
Yeah. That makes
which
sense.
would probably be a safe bet. Of course, the rumors that we've heard are smaller screen, and then this is for the one that is probably going to come this year. Smaller screen, dockable, but really not meant for that. It's meant mainly for portability, and no detachable Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons are going to be, it's going to be basically a single body system.
Okay.
Okay.
Would you buy
have that.
this?
I have
Yes.
I have the Switch now,
No.
so I don't think I would change.
Okay.
Does it upgrade any kind of graphical capabilities of it?
No.
Then no, not for me. I'd go for the original Switch.
Okay.
I don't own a Switch, but I would probably just go for the more portable one because I don't think I'd be playing too much on a TV, so there would be no need for me to dock it.
Yeah.
I'm in the other camp, the exact opposite side. So
Yeah. We talked about that, how that would be mainly a home console for you.
exactly, yeah.
I mean, obviously, it'll probably be a cheaper option, which will make it more appealing to some people. I could see around
Hopefully.
that too. I'm gonna get to that. Just cool your jets. We're gonna get there. But
I know what you're mad about.
he's like, don't fucking say that because you said that
Like,
last
are
week.
you sure?
Okay.
Are you really sure,
All right.
Joe?
Now's probably a good time to move on. So basically, new Switch. We don't know anything about it. Fuck it. Okay. So the Xbox All Digital Edition.
Brandon's a little upset.
So last week we talked about this. I'm sweating. Now.
We were wrong.
We were so
Very
wrong.
wrong.
It's disappointing.
It is disappointing, and a lot of people are disappointed.
So they announced it.
Yeah, they did
It's
announce it.
real. The
Yeah.
rumor part was correct that it is coming.
Comes out next month.
Yeah, they're
Pretty
taking
soon.
they're taking pre-orders now, and here's the thing. So up until that was announced, the 1S was retailing for $299.
Yes.
For some reason, I thought it was retailing at $199. Maybe I just had Black Friday on the
Yeah,
brain.
let's say it was during Black Friday.
Excuse me, but I think that it was back at $299. They decided to drop it to $249. That is what it retails at now. So I thought, oh great. So what does that mean for the discless one?
Yeah. Let's make action.
$249.99.
Pointless.
This makes absolutely 0 sense. We don't know why they did this. This is absolutely dumb. That means that the 1S, whether you've got one with an optical drive or one without it, you're paying $249.
So we've got this one that does everything.
Yeah.
And then we've got this one where we took something away. They're the same price.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
one do you want?
There's
So do you want to play Blu-rays? Because that's $249.99. Oh, you don't need to? $249.99.
Exactly.
Which is crazy because coming from me, like, and I'm a car guy, but like there are track editions of cars where they charge you to take out the fucking radio and the
Yeah.
air conditioning and stuff. It's an extra option to make the car lighter, and I'm just, and that shit just kind of blows my brain still in those instances. And then that's when it kind of feels like the same thing. We took it out. It's sleek. It's slim now. Look at it, and it's the same fucking price. And I'm like, you took something away for the same fucking money.
this
Well,
is
that's
where
like I don't get how digital copies of games still cost the same as like the physical copies. You figure there'd be some
That's
sort
true,
of price
too.
break for not
Yeah.
having a physical copy.
yeah, but don't hold your breath for that to change.
Yeah, that won't change.
Oh, I don't.
No, that's
to
all.
be fair, though, about that, though, how much was an N64 game?
Around $60.
60
Yeah.
bucks.
Yeah.
So the price of games hasn't really risen.
But
at
PlayStation
all.
games were around 50.
Well, I'm just saying though. So it's 50 to 60 bucks, which is because there are new games for $50, $49.99
Yeah, it's
for
one
some
of the
new
things
games,
that haven't really inflated.
and then most are $59.99.
Yeah.
So it's the exact same as it was 20 years ago.
Right.
So I mean, it would be nice if they were cheaper, but
I don't see
I
it
mean,
changing.
they're not.
That's the
They're not
market
any more
price.
Yeah.
expensive, and with inflation, they're cheaper than they were then.
Exactly right.
So it would be nice if discless games or digital games were cheaper because
Especially if
they're
you're
not paying
being
for the
forced
production.
into it.
Yeah, yeah. If we're gonna be forced
Yeah.
into it, but
This is kind of
I'm still fine paying it.
this is going to be where I play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Because I read this and I was like, I've got to figure out what is going through their damn minds. Because why?
Right.
What is?
Yeah, I agree.
What makes this make sense? I know that. I know it's money, but the thing is, like, what's their angle? There are only two things I can think of that they are going to try to use as buying points for this versus the 1S, the regular 1S. One is for the people who absolutely have to have the latest, which there are people out there
Oh,
like,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, it's a new Xbox. Okay, I have to have it.
Yeah.
Well, it's taking something away. I don't give a shit. Give it to
I
me.
have
But
to have
it's
it.
new.
Right.
Yeah. That's it.
That's actually 100% it. And for maybe like collectors that are very completionists in their collection, like
Exactly.
they've got to have every single version of it.
Or people who have a busted down Xbox and they're, but
Yeah.
even then you're going to buy the other one.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing is they are including 3 games, Sea of Thieves, Forza Horizon 3, and Minecraft. Minecraft is what, $20?
Yeah, it's still not worth it to me.
Forza
Okay.
Horizon 3 is
Probably
the-
close to 60 because Forza games never go down.
Well, they do, but it's the last game of a
Yes.
game that's already 2 years old.
Right.
Yeah. If they had Horizon 4, that would make it a little
Yeah,
bit more
like
tempting.
what's the point of doing 3? I don't get I don't get it. It's not like 3 was it was a good game, but it's not like it was so much amazing, and Forza 4 was a disappointment. So you give them the good one.
Right.
Yeah. Forza Horizon 4 was
both
amazing.
just
Yeah, it was.
as good, and you gave them the old one instead.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
And then Sea of Thieves. What does Sea of Thieves even retail at? $39.99?
It's free if you have Game Pass.
Well, that's
Yep.
the other point is that's it. Technically, Horizon 3 is not on Game Pass, but Horizon 4 is.
Right.
And they are getting ready to put Minecraft
on Game Pass.
on Game Pass.
Yes.
So really, this seems like an insult to somebody's intelligence.
Yeah, to me, I think to make this a good deal, which I mean, Game Pass and Gold are already very cheap as it is.
And
they're
now
always
bundled.
Yes.
they're bundled, and they have like I just did $1 for 3 months of Game Pass.
Same.
I
Yep.
just loaded that up, and so did Spence. I know. But
So are
like,
we
it
playing
would be
Horizon
nice.
4 this week?
Yes, we are playing Horizon 4 this week. I never uninstalled it, so I had to double check once I got Game Pass on, and it was like installed, and I'm like, cool.
Now you just have the license. You're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. I
And
just
so,
played a little bit today.
There you go. So what I think would make a good selling point for this is maybe if they included 6 months or a year of both for $249.99.
Okay. Yeah, I can get down with that.
Because the whole thing is with digital, and you have to be online. It's very online centric in digital games,
Yeah.
so they should include that option, especially for something they're trying to push, and that would add the value there
Yeah.
because you're at like, what is that? Probably $120 worth of value kind of thing for
yes.
a year.
A year of gold, by itself,
They're both
is
about
$59.99.
$60. Yeah, $60 for each.
Yep.
kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Well, no, Game
Well-
Pass would be $120 because it's $10 a month.
Right.
Oh, it is. It
Yeah,
is.
so
and
you're
they
looking
don't
at
offer any kind of annual discount on this.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless you
So-
get like a special.
like now. But
Yeah.
yeah. So you're looking at $170.
Yeah, so that would add value to me, even if it's just 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, if that was the case, let's say if it was 6 months, you're looking at what an $80 savings. So that drops it, quote unquote, drops at $80.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm okay with it.
At that point, I would still, if it was 6 months, I would kind of go back and forth simply
Right.
because I have a Blu-ray player, I have a PS4, I don't really need all that, and I
Right.
might go with it. But if it was a year, I would kind of almost definitely go for that one if
Yeah.
I was in the market.
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, no, I get it. And and there's part of me that would say I wouldn't do it out of principle alone.
Yeah. I mean, I have a 1X, so I mean, I'm
You're
set.
good.
See, I have
not-
the 500 gig white.
Yeah.
Oh, mine's black. I got
Yeah.
the OG one.
I got the all white. So upgrading is a possibility in my near future, anyways.
There you go. Well, now think about this though. Is it because we're probably going to see new Xboxes next year?
That's me. See, that's where I am.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean-
but I want to get one for the kids' rooms, anyways. So
No, there you go.
I mean, if it's
Okay.
going to come
Yeah.
with their own accounts and stuff,
A discless one actually kind of makes sense for kids
exactly.
too.
Yeah.
If
And
that's
that's a
something you
huge
want to do
thing.
for your kids' rooms, because if no one if somebody else or doesn't have kids out there listening, they fuck things up. Mainly discs.
They do.
Yeah, kids and
Shove
optical
mainly
discs
discs.
do
CD
not
slot.
mix.
Right. And, they insert chocolate CDs. I've had that happen, and it's not a good experience.
You know what you need in your kids' room? A VCR.
They put shit in that, too.
It doesn't. It'll still go.
No, I think what you need is a mount. Just get it off,
Yeah.
like get it out of their reach. That's what you need more
But
than
then they can't play.
No, they can figure
For
it out.
someone like me who's right now forced into having to buy a new Xbox, once that's released, I am actually considering that because I'm kind of shying away from buying actual physical copies as it is.
I have been too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I mean,
I buy more digital than anything.
The only reason why the optical really is important to me is because I do use
do the
mine for a
4K
4K Blu-ray.
Blu-ray.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that makes sense for you.
Yeah.
For someone like me who does not buy Blu-ray,
I don't. I don't either.
I don't really see I don't really see a reason.
And I don't have a 4K TV, so it wouldn't
yeah,
matter
and that's the same
anyways.
thing.
I think the other
Yeah.
smart thing would have been to actually like not make it a 1S, but make it almost like a 1X where there were, if you want to take away the optical drive, that's fine, but give it 4K,
4K gaming. Yeah.
Right.
I think that would have been, then the 249 is
would've been-
justifiable.
Yeah,
That-
that would have made sense.
Because
Either
that's a
way.
$500 console,
Yeah.
the 1X.
You can make it
which-
$299 for that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And not give
yeah.
any games or, anything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
That would be a.
I would
be a
upgrade with
deal.
that.
That would
Yeah.
be a deal.
Did we blow our wad on that one?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Moving on.
Moving on.
We bitched, bitched and we moaned, and we're moving on.
Well, we're trying to work on our time management when it comes to how long we're staying on topics, and so far we're doing pretty
Hey,
well.
you know,
I
I've
have
been
to
listening to
say.
some podcasts, and they are 2 hours long. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Some
you
of
don't
them
need
are.
to feel too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not interesting enough for that yet.
Some of them, neither are they.
Fair point.
Continuing with gaming, so there's been some speculation this week on what Rockstar's doing. I love Rockstar. I've got a very, and it's not just GTA for me or Red Dead for me. I'm a big Midnight Club fan.
I never played Midnight Club, and it
dude.
seems like it'd be something that's right up my alley.
It's actually a lot of fun. It's very arcadey,
Oh yeah,
but I mean it's a lot of fun. They released Los Angeles for backward compatibility.
okay.
And I was like, I'm gonna buy. I think they had it for like $8 or something on a sale.
I will buy
and
that then.
I was
Yeah,
like,
that's pretty good.
well, I don't know if it's $8 now. I think it may
No.
be like 10 now, but still,
Fuck that.
Too much.
still worth it.
It's like my 8th one there. F bomb.
But you're fine, dude. It's more apparent if you count them.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. There's probably going to be someone out there in the future, if we're interesting enough, that's going to count these.
And we're gonna try to just blow their mind.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do
One
like
episode-
the
like, as soon
South
as we
Park
found out.
episode. You guys know the South Park episode where they
Yeah.
count every I think every time they say shit, was it?
Yes, because
Yeah.
they could finally
And
say
they had
shit.
a shit counter,
Yeah.
and they it ended up saying like shit 300 times in an episode.
Yeah,
It was
that's awesome.
great.
in a half-hour episode.
Yeah.
Did it flow?
No.
No, but the whole point of it was the counter.
Right.
So
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
It
think that's
worked.
the point. So
rowdy.
it is a fun game. I also enjoyed one thing that I would really wish that I could get on a current console is Manhunt.
Yeah.
Manhunt was such a fucked up game, but it was fun. Even their table tennis game. I mean, they took something as mundane as ping pong and made a really fun game out of it.
We just lost all of China.
Shit's mundane sometimes. Sorry. Nobody in China's listening to us.
They're not allowed. Tiananmen Square.
That's probably
We
true.
just got blocked.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's kind of interesting to see what they're going to do next. Obviously, the three big properties, if you can even say three right now, are GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, and the LA Noir. I can never say that word.
I can't
right.
say that word either. That's why I'm not tempted.
I know how
Noir.
to spell it.
Noir.
Those are
Like
probably
guar with an N.
Gunnar.
those are probably the three. What did you just say?
Gunnar. He said it's like guar with an N. Gunnar.
And he repeated
Dumb
it.
bitch.
All right.
So, some of the speculation coming out,
So
obviously,
Rockstar.
Yeah, Rockstar. Everybody wants GTA 6 in a big bad way.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't expect this for at least a couple more years, if that, or if not longer. One of the possibilities that I've read that I think would probably be a pretty safe bet would be a sequel to Bully. Which,
Yeah.
Have you ever played Bully?
Very little.
It was
I've never played it, but I've heard it was a really good game.
the original on PS2 was really good. The Scholarship Edition that came out for the next gen consoles really watered down. It went from an M rating to a T rating.
Oh, okay.
And it watered it down, but basically it's GTA in a prep school. That's basically the best way to describe it. I could see that happening because Bully does have a pretty large following. Something else that somebody brought up is maybe a sequel to LA Noir.
LA Noir.
And or even Manhunt, which I think would be really cool. Obviously,
Do you think like the EU is gonna ban that shit again?
who knows? Maybe.
Pussies.
It's not my problem
Yeah, exactly right.
because I've lived in America.
America.
I can kill fucking people if I want to.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of Rockstar, is anybody else annoyed by the CJ memes yet?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't think I know what you're talking about.
Here we go again.
I've recently, just today, I actually saw an edit of or I guess it's a mod, not an edit of the video. It's a mod that somebody captured of the Resident Evil newest game. You know, like Mixter X or something.
Yes.
Who he is in the game, the big bad guy, and he chases you down.
The tyrant. Yeah.
You're playing as CJ, and one of your other guys is one of the other characters. I don't remember his name. And he's just chasing you down, and you're just busting him with the machine gun, which you don't really have in the game, and it just looks ridiculous.
Let me guess. Does it say "Here we go again"?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Or like you missed the fucking train, CJ. Or all you had to do was follow the damn train.
It's just you know how there's certain memes out there. It's like, oh, that was funny the first couple of times I saw it, and then I got kind of bored with it. I never thought that it was funny from the first one. I'm like, first off, San Andreas is not that endearing of a game to me. I know
it never was for me. Vice City was far more.
Thank
for me.
you. Yes.
San Andreas is when I stopped playing any of the Grand Theft Autos.
Okay.
Me too.
You should try GTA 5, seriously, because it is actually really good. I didn't like GTA 4 hardly at all. GTA 5 is fantastic.
I didn't play anything after Vice City until 5 came out, and I've gone through the actual story mode probably 3 times.
Well, like I bought GTA 4 for my 360 right after it came out.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I bought it the day I bought my 360. That was the game I bought.
Okay.
I bought it was the special edition with the lockbox. I still have that lockbox with like the CD and the book and stuff. It's actually really cool. And I was so disappointed with that game that when GTA 5 came out, I didn't give a shit. I didn't care. But then eventually I was I ended up getting it on PS4 when I had the first PS4 and ended up rebuying it again for Xbox because I had a bunch of friends that played online.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, why would I want to play this online? That's all I do on it now. I don't think I've played maybe an hour of the story.
See, I'm more of a story person anyways.
I am too, and that's my thing is with the GTA games. The story isn't something I'm a big fan. I don't like new age crime or gangster stuff. It's not my thing. But the games are fun, but I end up just causing chaos, and then I'm
and that's
done,
where I was,
and I'm satiated for about an hour.
City.
After an hour of playing, and then I don't want to pick it up for another week or two.
Yeah,
just because I don't. And so
I haven't.
They're really
it
just it was fun for me when I was angst filled and full of testosterone at like 14. And I just wanted to kill and murder everything if I couldn't fuck it.
Yeah.
But now it's just
so basically he wanted to kill everything.
Yeah.
because he couldn't fuck anything. Well, you may be happy to hear this, that the big speculation is that GTA 6 will
I was
going to
bring that up. Yeah. That's what I've seen so far, is it might be going back to Vice City, which would be fucking incredible.
I would love
I didn't
that.
play it, so I don't know.
Oh,
it's very good.
As an add-on to that, because I saw it the other day, or I think I saw it yesterday, and I just looked up the story real quick. GTA 6 has apparently been in development a lot longer than Rockstar has let on. There was a 3D artist that I guess worked on some vehicles for it, and he said that he worked on it from 2017 to 2018.
That wouldn't surprise me with how big and immersive those games are.
Yeah, I mean, 3D modeling is not an easy process anyways.
I imagine that's very beginning of the stage,
right,
too.
Exactly. So from what I understand of video game making, they do the storyboards obviously very first, just to get the ideas out. And then they do the 3D modeling. And then they lay in the mundane stuff, which takes the most amount. And then they put in the quest lines. So 3D modeling is first.
Yeah. Okay.
Right after storyline.
Because it has to be.
Exactly. It takes so long to make all that shit.
It's the canvas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense that he worked there for so long and it's still not out yet. I would say 2020.
Yeah. That sounds right to me.
The speculation is either 2020 or 2021, which...
I tell you what, though. If it is going to go back to Vice City, and I find I got to put fucking dynamite in a tower with an RC helicopter, I'm burning that shit to the ground.
Just placing that shit everywhere, aren't you?
Just blow up the whole city.
Yeah.
You don't know, but it was a very notoriously difficult, and it was time.
Oh, I remember.
And it was like, well, no, he didn't play it.
I didn't play it.
And so it was, and the controls were shit on that fucking helicopter.
Yeah.
It was terrible. If they put it in there, burning it.
All right.
Here, we'll take predictions right now. So what do you think the next flagship Rockstar release will be? Will it be Bully 2, GTA 6, or a sequel to another IP of theirs? Me personally, I'm going to say GTA 6. That's my prediction.
So you're talking about
Same
the
here.
next
The
release.
Their next
yes.
big release.
Yes, I mean, obviously the Red Dead itch has been scratched. We're good there for 10 years. So what do you think is next for them as far as flagship? I'm not talking about reissues or anything like that.
I think
Flagship.
for marketability, definitely GTA. It's one of their biggest brands.
Yeah.
So they know they already have a market. I think that'll be it.
Okay.
I agree. I think it will be GTA, but I would love to see either another Bully or Midnight Club.
Okay.
Just
And
do something different.
I agree with you on Midnight Club. I mean, I love Midnight Club. And by the way, the first two Midnight Clubs sucked. They were horrible.
Yeah.
But Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition.
Was that even on like the last generation, or was it like
They were on
PlayStation
PlayStation 2.
2 and Xbox?
There was only one
Original.
Midnight Club on the last, and it was LA.
Yeah.
The
okay.
first three Midnight Club were on PS2 and original Xbox.
So it's been a minute.
Yes, it's been a while. Let me look that up real quick. I want to say 09.
And see, that's something I would like because even the arcade stuff, I'm more of a sim racing kind of guy. But like Forza Horizon 4 is really great. But it's definitely more arcadey than maybe Forza Motorsport. But it's not quite the what I assume Midnight Club is, and like the Need for Speed. And Need for Speed is just so hit or miss. And even when it's hit, it feels like it's lacking some different.
I got over Need for Speed a long time ago.
The
I think the
only
last
Need for
one
Speed
that I
ever
really
liked was Underground.
that
Yeah.
Exactly.
That was the last
Underground
one.
2 was really good. though.
Underground 2 was actually really good, but I found myself splitting time between Underground 2 and Midnight Club 3.
Yeah. So I think there's definitely a spot for it in the market there.
Yeah. And I mean, they are way more arcadey, but there's a lot of mission type stuff that you
Yeah.
can do that you're not going to see in. Well, you're starting to see it more in Horizon, but
Yeah. And I think they could kind of bridge that gap between, the serious nature of the Forzas. I mean, and they're not so serious, but they're not so over the top either.
Right.
Where the Need for Speed is. But the Need for Speed, it's EA.
Right.
It's not always a good game. And when it is a good game, there's still really cheesy
Right.
elements to it as far as the story goes. So
by the way, release on the last Midnight Club game, which it was Los Angeles, was October 20th, 2008. So we're looking at over 10
11
years
years,
ago.
yeah.
I mean, they did it with Red Dead, but I don't know.
If they could build that game on the GTA 5 engine,
yeah.
I mean, it's all on the Rage engine. I
Yeah.
mean, they,
Yeah.
but it's to what degree? I think that LA was built on the same version as GTA 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it runs really well. I mean, even on the Xbox One, every once in a while I'll fire that up. I bought it. Like I said, I bought a digital copy of it, and it's definitely worth checking out.
I definitely think Bully 2 is more likely, but I'd like to see either one more than GTA 6 first. Obviously, I'd like
Now, what
to
about
see GTA
Spence?
6.
Yeah,
Spence.
Spence.
we didn't
what,
get you in there.
What do you think will be the
I
next
agreed
one?
with Joe earlier, but I think GTA 6 is definitely going to be the next one out, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get it out by Christmas next year.
Anything wouldn't surprise me. It makes
Yeah.
like fucking $1 billion. So
Yeah.
I am going, as far as timeline, I'm going to predict that it's going to be fall of 2021 because I think that they are going to want to have an established console generation to launch on.
Yeah, I can see that.
If rumors are correct.
GTA 5 was a very early title for the Xbox One, though,
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well,
wasn't it?
and remember last week we
because it was on
read the
360
story
as well.
that said it was
when they
going to
were
be an
very-
exclusive.
Yes.
at
That's
launch.
by the way, Spence, I don't give any kind of belief to that at all.
What did he say?
None.
I missed it.
He brought up a rumor that for the PS5 that the next GTA title was
okay.
going to be exclusive for a month.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't buy that for a minute.
That's hype, I feel like.
There
Yeah.
was a time when the GTA titles came out exclusively for PlayStation and then they would launch on the other consoles
Later.
a year later.
Yes.
I don't buy that for a minute. They're going to go all in or
Oh, yeah.
nothing.
I
So,
completely agree with that.
but the GTA 5 thing's a good point. GTA 5 was not originally for this generation. It was for the last generation. This was basically an enhanced version.
Yeah, I had it on 360
Yeah.
first, and then I never purchased it for the Xbox One, actually. So
Yeah. As somebody they've been clamoring for the GTA 5, the 360 version of GTA 5, to be put on backward compatibility. I'm like, Fucking why?
It's the same game.
Well,
with
I think part of it
missing
is
things.
because when all the DLC came out, you got that stuff in story mode as well. But on the Xbox One and the PS4, you didn't get it.
Well, they should not hold their breath.
Yeah,
Because
I don't see
I
that
don't think
happening.
that's coming.
They're going to tell you, oh, you want to play it on the Xbox One? Buy the new version.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to know what any of our listeners have or the opinion on
Yeah.
What is
Put it
the
on our
Twitter?
Facebook page.
What's the Twitter tag?
for this.
Excuse me.
For Nerd Jam.
See, I didn't even burp. That was like I've been turning down my volume for burps, and then that comes out of me. I hate my body. Anyway,
Our
everybody
handle
else.
is Nerd Jab Podcast.
Nerd Jab. Okay, so let us know what you think. Nerd Jab at Nerd Jab Podcast on Twitter. Let's do hashtag Rockstar.
Yeah, that works.
What do you think will be the next property? Watch nobody. Like we're setting ourselves up for failure. I don't care. I don't give a shit. We believe in it. What do you think will be the next Rockstar game? Tell us at Nerd Jab Podcast, all one word, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And hashtag Rockstar. So I think now's a good time to take a quick break.
Well,
You
before we move away from this, I just want to touch on last week we were talking about the Red Dead update or rolling out online.
Yeah.
And there was a story I saw, and I was trying to find it, but I can't find it now, that said they were rolling out a pretty big spring update. And the rumor is that that's going to bring out the rest of the online stuff.
Fantastic.
So
Well,
we
it's
may
about
get to see
time.
that soon.
Look at that. It'll finally be fixed.
Yeah.
No shit. Parlay, please. Get that anti-griefing under control.
We don't need no 13-year-olds killing Joe
Hell
constantly.
no.
Mommy, he said
Yep.
a bad word.
Yeah. Say a lot of bad words. Well, thank you for that update, Spence. That
Yeah.
was mighty informative. Whenever we come back, Brandon had a homework assignment.
I
So
did.
we're going to talk about that. And I'm actually really excited about this one
I am
because
too.
it's one of my favorite movies. Plus, I want to talk about the Galaxy Fold
Oh, yes.
and what kind of
Yeah, we can do that.
what a fucking mess that
oh, my
is.
God. That was great.
And
Spoiler.
and of course, we can't do a Nerd Jab episode without some wrestling stuff too. So
We can't.
we're gonna no,
I
Did
think
that
we
get
can.
decided?
we cannot. All right, so
Well, you guys can take a nap, I guess.
Yeah.
this will be the
Clocking
portion
out.
of the show where me and Mings take over and you guys sleep.
I'm not even a big fan.
But you can
I'm
carry
casual,
conversation.
yeah.
So, all right, we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back. Hey, everybody, Joe here. I hope that you're enjoying this week's episode and that it's everything that you hoped and dreamed a podcast would be. And if it is, how about supporting us? I mean, don't get me wrong, we love doing this show. We will always offer it for free. We're never going to charge for it, but it does take a lot of time and a lot of energy to produce these shows. And again, we're happy to do it, but a little bit of support goes a long way. And what better way to do that than to buy a t-shirt or a hoodie from the podcast? That's right, we have the first official Nerd Jab t-shirt and hoodie on the website right now for your purchasing and wearing pleasure. It's at nerdjab.com on the shop page. It's got a cartoon likeness of yours truly, and it says, "My muff doesn't stink." Do you have a muff that doesn't stink? Well then, how about telling the world? Tell everyone that you have a fresh muff. And you can do it with this shirt. Again, t-shirts, hoodies, they're available in a variety of colors. You get to customize how you want this t-shirt. And on the back, it has the Nerd Jab logo. So you can start telling people about your favorite show and telling them, how funny these idiots are that sit in the basement and talk about nerd stuff and hentai. Yeah, that was for you, Mings. So yeah, go to nerdjab.com to the shop page, buy a t-shirt or a hoodie or buy both. And, represent your favorite show. Supports us. It supports your back. That's what it's all about. That's what makes the world go around. So get that t-shirt one more time, nerdjab.com on the shop page. And now back to the show. All right, we are back.
And we're back.
Pick that up.
Yes.
Brandon, follow.
So, Brandon, God, you just look raring to go for this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
man, this was exciting.
So
Just
just
sit back in his chair.
to intro this, Brandon, we had an idea that we were going to give Brandon a homework assignment every week. We kind of fell back on that this week. he had a homework assignment, and that was, we were talking about Disney Plus, and actually, I made a mistake on that. I think that they are actually doing the High Fidelity limited series on Hulu, actually.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
that was my mistake.
That actually makes a little more sense.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
A lot of more.
a lot of more.
So Brandon said that he had never seen High Fidelity, so his homework assignment was to watch it. And what did you think, sir?
All right, so let me preface this with, I did not have high expectations of this movie.
Okay.
Just because you guys were like, hey, you need to watch whatever the
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride.
That he
It's so
didn't
great.
like.
And I didn't like it. So,
You're just weird.
yeah, apparently I'm weird. So Joe was like, this is a great movie. You need to watch it. And I had very low expectations. I freaking loved it.
Awesome.
Oh my
I
God.
knew you would.
It's good.
It's really good. I do have some points that really grabbed my attention. And because he was a very big list taker, I want all of us to have, it doesn't have to be 5. He always did top 5. But I want us all to go pick out key moments of the movie that you really liked.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to go first so you guys
I
can
know
think
what
about
Ming,
it.
I know what Mings' number 1 is going to be because he already kind of mentioned it. But whenever we were talking about it before,
I don't think I did.
you did.
It's not my number 1.
Oh, okay.
It's really the only one I'm going to talk about. It's what stuck with me ever since I first watched it.
Okay.
All right,
Fair
well,
enough.
I'm going to go first so everybody else can think about it.
Sure.
There was a quote that really hit me hard just because of what I've gone through recently. Okay. And the quote was, I miss her smell and the way she tastes. It's a mystery of human chemistry, and I don't understand it. Some people, as far as their senses are concerned, just feel like home.
Yeah.
Blew me away.
That's a great quote.
It blew me away. And that's probably going to be the most memorable segment of that movie, period, for me. The most memorable, not all of it.
And just to give context, that's when he's giving his, like you said, he does a lot of top 5 lists.
Yes, that was one of his top 5.
That was his top 5 things that he missed about Laura.
Yes,
Who's kind
exactly.
of the the whole thing is he's going through his
Breakup.
top 5 breakups
Yes.
while going through this breakup with his current girlfriend, Laura.
Yes.
Second was the fact that she, it was right after her dad passed. And she said, I'm too tired not to be with you. And
You're getting really sentimental with this.
those were the only two.
It's a fucking gut punch of a movie.
It is a gut punch of a
really
movie.
is. All of mine are
especially-
going to be funny.
Especially after, my recent events with everything that happened.
Sure.
So what I thought, this wasn't really pertaining to the movie per se, but it's really cool. So you actually had me assign this to me 24 years to the week after the book was published.
Yes, it is.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I saw that.
Because I was going through facts about it afterwards, and because I wanted to be, I had some thoughts on it during the process that I wanted to fact check myself.
I
And
perused IMDb's trivia section today.
So
That's what I'm going to do now.
it was literally 24 years later that as of last week that the book was actually released, and it was 19 years since the movie. So it was really cool. I thought that was amazing. And then, so he had his top 5 jobs towards the end of the movie. And one of them was to be a film director. And what's funny is, it seems like a jab to what he really wanted to do in real life, because he was a screenplay writer for this movie, and he was also co-producers, one of the co-producers.
John Cusack.
Yes.
That's who you're talking about.
Yeah, John Cusack. So I thought that was kind of like a punch towards like what he wants to aspire to in real life.
There's a lot of little in things in the movie that I never realized until I actually went and read some stuff today.
See, and the thing I pick up throughout that entire movie are little throwaway lines whenever she says, number whatever it was, film director. And he says anything but German or silent.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
Yeah. And there was another one where he said, I don't even know now. It was one of his top 5, and he excluded a couple things during his top 5. So that was cool. That was really cool. I thought it was a jab towards his real life at that time. And then something that I actually I found it on IMDb, but I thought it was really cool. So right after Laura walks out on Rob, and he lists his 5 most memorable breakups,
Yes.
right, in chronological order. He lists number 3 as Jackie Alden, but later he changes it to Charlie Nicholson, which is hot, by the way.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah.
So those were my moments. of
She's
the
also
movie.
insanely annoying in that movie.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Very, very, very vapid.
Yes.
Yes.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. That is the exact adjective I was getting ready to
Yeah.
use.
Very nice.
And he actually, I mean, that's kind of a real, and I'll put that as one of mine are not going to be in any particular order, but one of those is whenever he discovers that Charlie is just a horrible human being.
Yeah.
When, just give context to people who haven't seen the film, he's going through the 5 breakups. One of them is Charlie Nicholson, and played by Catherine Zeta-Jones. And she is like this, I think that it's more of like he loves the idea of her more than
Yeah,
her.
he put her on a pedestal.
And it's because she was very trendy and she, she had opinions about things. And he goes to this dinner party. He leaves a message on her answering machine, trying to get a hold of. He's trying to contact all of the
5 breakups.
the top 5, and kind of get context into why he's going through current relationship issues with Laura, which is actually a great plot point. And he gets a call back from her, and the call is just exhausting to watch.
Yes, it is.
And then he goes to this dinner party, and he realizes that, like you said, that he had put her up on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And that she was not worth it.
Not even close.
And she's the same person, and she's just shallow and just not
Yeah.
a deep
Yes.
person.
And you watch the flashbacks, and you notice these things.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, during the flashbacks, not just with her, with the others as well, you notice the things that he missed, and then later he comes to realize.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Well, like with I can't remember her name, but Lily Taylor played her, the girl who
I don't remember her name either. Yeah.
He got very attached because it was a very codependent relationship,
Yes.
and then out of nowhere one day she
Like,
just
I
breaks
found
up.
somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
They were basically just commiserating.
exactly they were two people who were just completely and utterly unhappy with their lives,
Right.
and so they found the only happiness that they could find was in each other. And then all of a sudden, one of those people decides, I want out.
Yeah. They were placeholders.
He meets up with her later, and she is like, she goes right back into that behavior where
Yeah.
she's, are you seeing someone?
Yeah, she wants to be codependent again.
Yeah. And the realization, you can see it on his face, but then also in his voiceover, he's like, I don't want anything to do with this. I'm glad she broke up with me and not with the other way around.
Yeah.
It's just really, really cool. But anyway, so that's the one would be the realization that Charlie is a vapid bitch. Let me see. I really like anything with Jack Black was just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I think them doing "Let's Get It On" at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that was perfect.
It was like everybody's expecting it to just be horrible, and then
Like
he
metal.
just fucking kills.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And the throwaway joke that he said, we were gonna call ourselves Kathleen Turner Overdrive. There's so many insanely funny parts of that movie. I think that another one that I found really funny was when he's playing Marie DeSalle's music in the store.
Yeah.
Lisa Bonet.
yeah.
And she comes into the store and he's playing her music.
Yeah, and she's like, good music.
Yeah, and he even goes, couldn't think to turn off her music. Like,
And he's holding her picture.
yeah, he's holding the liner notes
Yeah.
of the CD, but like it's an instant, like he's like really, really interested in this thing, but then he goes right back into, because right before she walked in, Ian was brought up.
Right.
The X Factor and all this, and he doesn't know who it is at first.
Right.
Turns out it's his old neighbor,
Yeah.
but everybody called him Ray,
Exactly.
and which his name was Ian Raymond or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And Tim Robbins, and he's so good in that.
He is. Oh, he plays such a good douchebag.
He's good in everything he does, but I
He
mean,
is, yeah.
especially in this, it showed that he can play. It was a very comedic role, but not so obviously. Like
Right.
he can do, like he's playing it so seriously that you have to laugh at the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's such a
yeah.
tool. But like going back to the scene, he's like talking to Marie and all this stuff, and then he goes back in and goes right back into what was stuck in his head. What fucking Ian guy? I love that so much. What is that? 3?
That was 3. Yes.
Okay.
You don't have to do top 5 if you don't have it.
There it is. I knew it was going to happen before the end of the show. I am so sorry.
You gotta quit that shit.
I know. That's 1. That's your 1.
Everybody gets one.
Yeah. So The other one that really stuck out would be where Ian walking in and the different scenarios that
Yeah.
goes through Rob,
Yeah.
where they deal with him, and at first he yells at him, and the second time he brutally assaults him.
I just
They
love
kill
when he
him.
like picks up the phone and just boom.
Yeah,
Right in
and he's
his
the
face.
quiet one, and he's like
Dick,
super
yeah.
shy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he grabs an air conditioner and just brings it down on his head.
Did you notice the teeth flying out of his
I
mouth
did see
whenever he
that.
hits him with the phone? Oh, it's so funny.
Did you know there was a movie where someone hit an office
It's
worker?
Wanted.
And it has
And
similar
with the
and-
keyboard and a teeth comes out. It's actually James McAvoy's character, and Chris Pratt is the other guy working
Yeah.
in the office, and he hits him upside the head with a keyboard as James McAvoy's walking out, and you see like the teeth coming out slow motion, and then it's also the keys from the keyboard that says like "fuck you" or something.
Yeah, and it was
floating through the
inspired
air.
by this.
Really?
Yes, it was.
I can believe that.
I did not know it was inspired by
Yeah.
that. That is cool.
I can believe that. My favorite part of the movie, if I had to really narrow it down, just because of it almost changes the tone of the movie, not completely, not to the point where it becomes a different movie or anything like that, but whenever he's doing the confessions and he is saying, was that your throat?
I don't
was
think
my
so.
throat.
Something weird just
I
happened.
thought Spence was just pissing in the background.
No,
We just took a break, man.
Breaks are for pissing. There was that part where, God, what's her name? Liz, their mutual friend, Joan Cusack.
Yeah.
Okay.
She comes in and she's, hi, fuck you.
Yeah.
And then you fucking asshole is what she says. And then she storms out and he says, now they had a conversation and one, if not all four of the following pieces of information would have been revealed to her.
Right.
And I think the ones were that he had cheated on her, that she was pregnant, and that the news of her cheating or him cheating on her led to her terminating the pregnancy.
Correct.
That he had loaned her money, or she had loaned him money, a large sum of money, and had
He
just
never
never
paid
paid it back. And then there was another one.
That was all four.
No, there was a fourth one. Oh, that he admitted that he may or may not be looking for someone else.
Yes. Yep, you're right.
And he says, did I do and or say any or all of these things? And he says, yes, I did. I am a fucking asshole.
Right.
And it's like, oh shit.
It's like his awakening moment.
It takes away the victim factor.
Right.
At that
Yeah.
point, it's like, you kind of feel bad for this guy. He's going through a breakup. It's like, yeah, but you know what? You did some shit that contributed to
Fucking
this
deserved
breakup.
it.
She wasn't perfect.
No.
But
But later on, he also describes how each conversation piece actually went down.
yes. And there are justifications to
Right.
all of them. Like the money thing, he's like, I didn't ask for that money. She offered it.
Right.
She had it. I didn't. The pregnancy thing, he never knew.
Right. He didn't know until much later.
Yeah, until after it was already done.
Terminated
Like
and
she had
everything.
already
Yeah.
terminated it. The sleeping with someone else, I don't think he really offered a justification
Right.
for that
No,
because
he's-
there is none.
Right.
And then the wanting to be with someone else, he says, she said it first. That she admitted that it's okay, dude. See, I'm just going to call you out on the show. There's
Everyone's
another
going to
one.
want to know why.
Yeah, he's twisting something. Take that as you will. But like I said, while there are justifications, he still admits that he was still wrong.
Right.
And again, it takes away that it puts everybody on an even keel at that
Yeah.
point. Laura's not the bad guy. Ian is not the bad guy. He's a douchebag, but he's not the bad guy.
Right.
Liz is not the bad guy, and Rob's not the bad guy. Everybody has done good things, and everybody has done bad things, and the situation is just this big fucked up mess.
Right.
Because that's the way life is.
Right,
It
exactly
made
right.
it more real. And that's the way it is with the end of a lot of relationships, that everybody does something that contribute to the end of that relationship. Sorry I went on so long.
What?
I just love this
Joe
movie.
ranted?
I know. It wasn't even
was-
really a rant. It was
know,
just
yeah.
It was just so good.
the thing is, I won't, but I could talk about this movie for hours. I love this movie so much. It is very nuanced. I don't think that it gets the credit that it deserves. And the fact that you liked it so much,
I'm glad you asked me
that
to watch
warms
it.
my heart. So, Mings, what do you got?
I only have one thing. because it's probably been 10 years since I watched the movie. I probably should have watched it as well.
We should have gave you a homework assignment.
But the thing that
had a
always
chance.
stuck with me from that movie is when Laura's father passes. They're at the funeral, and she says like something to the effect of like, "Will you make love to me?" in the car. To which they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And and he's just very dumbfounded by her asking.
Yeah.
Like, where is this coming from? And she's like, I just want to feel something other than this. And if you say no, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go inside and stick my hand in the fire.
Or you can put cigarettes on my arm.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
And he says something.
He's
very
like, I want to save those
yeah,
cigarettes.
yeah. I've only got a few left. I'm saving them for later.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, I guess it's going to be sex then.
He's like,
Yeah.
I guess so.
Which again mixes that, the realness
Yes.
of
Oh,
yeah,
humanity
yeah.
with a little bit
It's
of comedy
such
thrown
dark
in.
humor, but
Yeah.
It was
a
really good.
gut punch.
Yeah.
And that scene just, I just want to feel something other than this.
Yeah.
It
We can
stuck
all
with
relate
me.
to that at some point.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I think
it
that's
stuck with me.
That's the reason
Same.
why people, not to get really dark, and this isn't reflective on me, but the reason why people cut themselves and shit like that is because they feel like they're going through a pain that is actually less painful than actually doing physical
Yeah.
harm to
And
yourself.
it's
Yeah.
a release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the reason why, some of those unhealthy sexual habits do come out. It wasn't unhealthy in this case because it ended up leading to them getting back together.
Right. Yeah.
And we're spoiling the whole movie, but I don't give a shit.
Spoilers.
It's been out for a minute.
It's been out for
We're
almost
just gonna
20
go ahead
years.
and say
yeah.
that.
If you
it's
haven't
okay.
watched it though, you're missing a big just go watch it.
Yeah, the
Yes.
story is it's one of those movies where even if you know the story and how it is,
Yeah, I'll definitely rewatch it.
It's watching the movie is the fun of it.
I'll add one to his list just because is another moment that I really love because I think everybody can relate to this. The conversation that he has with his mom,
Yeah.
where she's like, "Oh, you fucked up again."
Yeah.
I remember being in situations, luckily not in my marriage, but I remember being in situations where, if I had a fight with a girlfriend or whatever that the family really liked, it was always my fault.
Yeah.
I was always the fuck up. And I think that, not to an extreme degree, but enough to where that one kind of struck me a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I understand that.
Yeah. Spence, you got anything?
No,
To be honest with you, no, I don't, because like I said last week, I've only seen bits and pieces, and I wanted to try to watch it this week, but with my work schedule, I just didn't have a chance to.
Okay. Well, I think from now on, whenever we give Brandon a homework assignment and somebody
should
in the
all do
show-
it.
Yeah, everybody should
we
watch
should
it.
all do it.
Yeah, that would be
Right.
actually really cool.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, obviously 10 being amazing, 1 being fucking horrible, what would you rate High Fidelity?
All right, so I have
know that's a hard
I have a
question.
weird scale. I don't rank individual movies on 1 to 10. I rank on my all-time favorites. Okay.
Is this going to turn into another top 5 list?
Yes,
That'd be
but I won't go
appropriate.
through all 5.
It's topical, Joe.
Number 1 is August Rush. That's always going to be my all-time favorite. I don't know why. I fucking love that movie.
Never watched it.
Is that another romantic comedy?
Isn't
not
it a little
really.
kid who like
Not
sings
really.
music and shit?
He doesn't sing at all, but
Plays the hell out of a guitar.
You're fucking wrong, Justin. Just shut up and let me do my list.
Shut the fuck up, Minx.
I do recommend watching it. You'll love it because music. It's a very musical movie.
I do.
But it's
I
not
do
a
enjoy
musical.
music.
All right, ass. We could go into your band history. Okay.
You got it too, buddy.
Yeah, well, not as cool as yours.
That's true.
All right.
I can feel the virginity level going up in the room.
So that's my
Wanna
number
feel it
one.
going down.
I would say this one ranks in my top 10, period.
Really?
That's
Yes.
impressive.
You liked it that much?
I liked it that much.
Okay.
It hits home on so many levels.
I'd say it's an 8 for me. 8 out of 10.
Cool.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's not a perfect movie, but it's definitely. I
Yes.
mean, I'd put it in my top 10. I don't
I
know
gotta be
exactly
in the
where.
mood for
but-
it.
You know what? I'm going to throw this out there. That's this week's homework assignment.
August Rush?
Top 10 movies.
Oh.
Yeah, we're going to make this challenging.
Oh shit.
All right.
And that's for everybody, including myself.
Okay.
I'll throw down on that as well.
Including our fans.
And you get to judge us on our.
Do I?
All right. No.
I'm just saying the people who listen are just you get to judge.
I thought you were talking about
how
me. I'm
terrible
like,
we are as people based off of what our top 10 movies
no,
are.
I was like, I'm totally fine with that.
Number one,
I will
Spider-Man
judge you.
3.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, Justin's off the marker. So
Yeah. So this is Mings' last show. Just you remember the whole Jar Jar Binks thing?
Yeah,
You're teetering on that. Yeah.
it's a joke.
I know
Joe.
it is, and even then you're still teetering.
all right. So homework assignment.
By the
top
way,
10
Spence,
movies.
you're still wrong. Yes, top 10 movies.
All right.
No particular. You know what? I'm gonna make it a little bit easier. Let's make it a little bit easier because I think we could turn this into a running thing. Why do the top 10 of all time? Because I want to do this more. So let's do this in honor of High Fidelity. Instead of top 10, it's gonna be top 5.
Okay.
Top 5 romantic comedies.
All right.
And make that as broad as you can.
Put it in our Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put it in the Discord. And we'll do a genre every week. I don't give a shit.
I'm
Let's
cool with
turn it
that.
into a
I like
feature.
doing lists.
Yeah. And I think we're probably going to devote a lot of time to it because I don't want people to just say it and then, okay, yeah, it's blah, 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 and
Yeah.
that's it.
And I think.
Tell us why.
Yeah, and what I want to do, the Sunday after the release of our first top 5, so next, not this coming Sunday, but the Sunday after.
Wait, what?
So-
yeah, that's right. Because this show's coming out this coming Sunday.
Right.
Yeah. Or this coming Thursday, rather.
Oh, well, yeah, so it is next Sunday. So next Sunday, I'm going to put a poll out on our Facebook page, and it's going to say, who do you relate to the most? And based off our top 5s, we're going to do this every week.
Do we have to do it every week?
Well, every week that we have a top 5.
Yeah, I would say
When we have a top 5.
Yeah, when we
Yeah.
have top 5.
We can do it. We can do it,
So is the top 5
semi-regularly.
going to be apart from Brandon's homework, or is this going to turn into that?
this will be the homework assignment.
can
I
be
think,
our
for
homework for this week,
just
yeah.
because it's going to take some thought. I mean, I know just on
yeah.
my part, there are a lot of movies I love to narrow them down. But I mean, again, this is just romantic comedies.
Okay.
I think that makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing there's probably only 5 romantic comedies I like. So it's just trying to figure out which one I like more than others. But
I've already got 2 in my head.
yeah, I think I've got a couple. So
I've got
I mean,
one.
High Fidelity. Because High Fidelity is technically a romantic comedy. So it is. It
It is.
It's
but
classified.
For me, it's got to be more cheesy love.
Okay.
See, for
too
me,
real.
I'm going to go on anything that is, when it comes to romantic comedies, I don't look for them for the romantic comedy value. I look for them for all the fringe benefits of it.
No, I understand.
Like High Fidelity. I mean, High Fidelity is a romantic love story that is dramatic and it's comedic, but then there's also like Jack Black's there. And you've got Todd Luizzo, who plays this really awkward dick.
He plays his character.
In basically every
Yeah.
project he's ever been in, TV show or movie.
He plays it really well, though.
He does.
And by the way, as long as you promise that you can get it back to me, I do have the High Fidelity book upstairs if you want to borrow it.
That just reminds Jerry Maguire. That might be on my list. Who
Ooh,
knows?
Oh, but
that's
in
a
that.
good one.
Don't spoil it.
It's not going to be in my
shit.
list. Actually, I do like that movie a lot, but
Yeah.
I'll leave it
So
on my
I'm,
list.
I'm
but
looking at some right now.
He
and
just
there's
he
a
popped into my
couple that
head,
I've-
and he's in that movie.
Show me
with
the money.
You guys
with,
have
like
sorry.
James Coltrane or whatever's in that, with the jazz tape, and then they put it on. and,
Yeah.
He's like, what the hell is this shit?
You guys have a week. So, I mean,
right.
I think that's pretty
Yeah.
sufficient. So, moving on. So, let's talk about this Galaxy Fold thing. Cause
Oh,
it's
God.
hilarious. So, now, the reason why this interests me so much is because I just ended a 10-year career in wireless. So, I mean, I've seen phones come, I've seen phones go.
Which one's come?
I knew it. As soon
I
as
have
I
those?
said it, I was like, shit.
That is one I missed out on.
Anyway. Of course, the last big debacle that we can remember is the Galaxy Note 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It was fire, though.
Hey,
I have a video.
you've probably never used that slang before in your life, have you?
Nope.
I can tell
been
because of the
saving
way
it.
you said it.
Yeah. It was lit.
It seemed really unnatural.
After he gets done recording this podcast, he's going to go home and get turned.
Yeah. You got that Note 7 and you saw it and you went, yeet.
Yep. Yep. That's what I did.
I hate myself. Anyway,
we're hip for the kids.
I actually worked. My God, my throat. Oh, so sorry. I actually worked at a retailer when the Note 7 thing happened, and my God, the mess that it created.
Oh, I'm sure.
Just on our level, it was. I mean, there's probably some shit I can't say because of
Legality.
NDAs and all that bullshit. But the shipping for those phones was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. I know they were.
The things that we had to do to get those phones replaced as far as getting people into different, because there were 2 recalls. The
Yes.
first one, because when they did the first one, I'm like, they need to just end of life the phone.
Yep.
Right then, just be done with it. No, we're going to bring it back out. And I'm like, whatever. They're going to recall it again 2 weeks later. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks later. They recalled it
It
again.
wasn't much time at all, no.
And luckily, they end of lifed it at that point.
Yeah.
But we were dealing with that. We were dealing with people who did not want to give them up.
Yeah.
Because they loved the phone so much.
It's like, who cares about the bomb in my pocket?
Yeah.
I care.
Even to the
I didn't have one, but I cared.
even to the point where there were people. I mean, they made it to where TSA would not let you fly if you had this
Yeah.
phone with you, and people didn't believe us. They were like, "Oh, bullshit! You're just saying that because you know
'Cause
whatever."
You want me to buy a new phone?
Yeah, and it's like, no, dude. Look online. There are signs. People were taking pictures of signage in the airport that said TSA. If you have a Note 7, you cannot board this
Right.
plane with the Note 7. You can't put it in your luggage. You can't, they're like, that
Yeah.
phone will not get on this plane because basically it's a bomb.
Yeah.
Potentially, the thing catches fire.
Yeah.
And so,
With the cabins being pressurized like that?
oh, dude,
Yeah.
it
it's
would
game
have been
over.
bad.
Yeah.
So we thought that'll never happen again. Well, this isn't dangerous.
Yeah.
Except for your wallet.
No shit.
No shit.
Was it $2,000?
$2,000.
It is, yeah, it was something around there, like 1969.
It almost kind of
That's
makes me
fucking
happy.
ridiculous.
People that have $2,000 to spend on a foldable phone, like, do you not remember flip phones or some shit?
Okay.
Like, it's
I
not
will
that
say,
satisfying.
I like the concept.
The concept is actually great, but the thing is, I knew from the very beginning, I'm like, this is going to be a gigantic
Flop.
catastrophe.
Yes.
Because they rushed the technology, and we're going to see something's going to fuck up.
Oh, yeah.
Before they are able to perfect this. So what is happening, in case anybody doesn't know, the phone obviously it folds in half. You've got a 4.6 inch screen, I think, on the outside, which is actually kind of small.
It is kind of small.
Gigantic bezels. It looks really
Yeah.
ugly, but whatever.
It's the first gen of this type.
Yes, and then it folds out into essentially I think it was a 6.98
like a
inch
tablet kinda thing.
Yes.
So it's like a phablet.
The thing is, if this came out 5 years ago, I would be like, this is amazing.
Right.
But the thing is, people don't really mind carrying around 2 devices all that much.
Right.
They really don't. But still, concept is cool. The price was outrageous, but at the same time, I think that they were trying to recoup some of their R&D costs. Because, I mean, it took a lot for them to
Yeah, it
develop the foldable displays. Fine, whatever. If the thing worked flawlessly, it would be worth it.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
I can make the argument that it would be worth the $2,000 because the only people who are going to buy these are probably going to be business-minded people,
Yes.
things like that. Here's the problem. We'll go to the least of the problems. Jelly scrolling. Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay,
Kinda
so
sounds sexy.
no, it's very not. If you see a video of it, it'll about make you sick.
Can we make it sexy?
So,
All right.
I mean, we can. we can try.
Put some tentacles in there.
There it is. Anyway, God, man, we're hitting speed bumps
Hit a
on this
fucking
episode.
brick wall there.
Yeah.
And his
Jelly-
name was Hentai.
Jelly scrolling is basically where if you're scrolling on a screen, obviously you want the whole screen to scroll
Smooth,
at once,
yeah.
very smooth and buttery. Instead, one side scrolls and the other side has about a 1 to 2 millisecond delay.
Why would you?
So
Why?
you don't want that, but that's just one of the.
Oh, it's one of the flaws.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that was intentional. I was like, why
No.
the fuck would you want that?
Everything I'm going to say is going to be
Okay.
flawed.
He prefaced this, Brandon.
Yes. If you'd listen.
Sorry.
So the other thing is the reason why getting to the big problem. The reason why that's happening is because there is a protective layer that looks like one of those plastic what?
I read about this. It's the part that you're not supposed to take off, and people are just
But
taking it off.
everybody does.
Taking it off. Yeah.
Everybody does.
Well, that's dumb. I'm taking it off.
I mean, I would probably have done the same thing.
Yes, I probably would have too. Because the thing is, every phone that I've ever bought has a
screen.
plastic layer
Yeah.
over it that you take off, that you have to take off to use the fucking phone.
The S10e came with an actual screen protector on there.
Oh.
And it actually says on it, this is a screen protector. You can remove it to use your own. It says it very boldly on the screen.
That's actually really smart.
They did not do that with the Fold.
Yeah. They didn't say, hey, don't do this. Or,
Yeah.
or you know what? Here's the thing. Maybe they did. They didn't make it as obvious, though. They didn't put it on the device itself.
Right. They put it in the instructions on the very last page.
Yeah, I knew it was in there.
How many phones have you bought where you read the instructions before you start futzing with the phone?
-3.
None.
Exactly. Exactly. If you're paying $2,000 for something, you're like, fuck this shit. I want to hurry up and play with it.
Yep.
I got nothing.
Insert,
Stop looking at me.
Insert dick joke here. Okay, anyway.
What am I inserting my dick into?
Okay, so.
The Galaxy Fold.
Slam it shut.
Kind of like a hot dog there.
do like what they do with the toilet seat. Just slam it. Okay, anyway.
Ouch.
Mings is a weird guy. So,
Ain't that weird?
people have been removing that, and that, of course, is causing these screens to break.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah, like
Weird.
within a day or two of use. At first, people are like, well, we're getting pre-manufacturer.
Right.
We're getting prototypes and stuff. Maybe this is, except every single one, just about every single one of these devices has broken.
Yeah.
So this is obviously a widespread issue. Not to mention, you're also getting a lot of little nicks and scratches because it's a plastic
Yeah.
screen instead of glass, because you can't have glass.
Right. You
Glass
can't
does
fold
not
glass.
fold.
Right.
So this is looking like a really,
Isn't there
really
a
big
ridge in the
disaster.
middle? It's not a one screen. Is
It
It's
does-
two
It's
one
separate
screen.
screens.
It is one screen.
I thought it was two screens
No.
with a ridge
No.
in the middle.
No. It
There's
is
hinges on the back, and you can see the hinges, but the inside is just a flexible LCD.
Oh.
and you do see a crease. If you look at it at an angle, they say you don't see it as much if you're looking straight on, but it's really noticeable when the fucker breaks.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
That's kind of the things I've seen of it, like the videos I've seen, or when it's like flickering and
Yeah.
freaking out. And so I saw like
2
crease,
days
and I
in.
thought it was two separate screens that kind of come together to form a slight seam.
Right.
there have been phones like that. I think ZTE made one
Yes,
that
they
had like it folded out and then almost clicked together
Yeah.
and made almost a seamless experience. There was still a line there.
Mm-hmm.
This is one foldable panel,
Okay.
but it ain't ready.
No.
So, and this phone launches very, very soon. So I would imagine that this is going to be a whole new disaster for Samsung.
How many people do you think, even after all of this publicity of it breaking, do you think will get it?
Pre-orders are already sold out.
God, Jesus.
I was gonna say plenty of people.
Yeah.
Idiots.
They don't
These-
care.
These are the same. These are the same people that are pre-ordering EA Star Wars games.
Yeah, that's true. If you pre-ordered this,
I
I
don't
kind of
hate
want to
those
hear
as
from
much
you.
as most people do.
Do what?
I don't hate those as much as most people do.
I haven't played any, but apparently the new one looks pretty. It's pretty promising.
Fallen Order.
Oh yeah,
Fallen
that
Order
looks really
looks
good.
Yeah.
amazing.
Campaign
I want
of the game.
if you've pre-ordered the Fold, I kind of want to hear from you. Contact us on our Facebook page. We want to talk to you.
Yes.
And if you want the same experience, you can pay me $1,500. So say $500. I'll kick you in the
Bring your
nuts,
current.
and you'll get the same experience.
And he'll break your phone.
Yeah, I'll break your current phone.
By the way, the launch on that in the United States is April 26th. So
That's
we are
next
looking
week.
at
This week.
this Friday.
I figured it would have been pushed back,
Nope.
and if it being this close, I doubt it does get pushed back.
No, I don't think it will.
What is today's date?
22nd,
21st.
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 Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So Friday.
You don't remember anything from yesterday?
I don't. And I'm not that guy, but I still don't. So yeah, that's the Galaxy Fold debacle. I guess we'll see what happens with the actual street units. I don't think it's going to be any better.
I don't think so either.
I don't see how.
I think it'll
Hopefully,
be
the new Motorola Razr has a better chance. To,
My God, that's
what
so
that did.
stupid. Did you see about that?
Uh-uh.
So you know how they made the Razer Android phones there
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
little while
You
with
have one,
Verizon?
yeah.
Well, they're bringing back the Razer name, which I think is going to cause a lot of freaking confusion
Right.
because of the Razer gaming phone. But it's a foldable phone. It folds clamshell style, like the old ones,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's a full touch
Well,
screen.
the
on
fucking
inside.
original one broke all the time too.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, but people
Did it?
still bought
Yes.
those
Yeah.
like fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
went
because they
through
were
3
the
of
big
them.
thing. They
Yeah.
were like the iPhone of that generation. The thing was they would open up and they would keep opening.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
it didn't have the
basically-
stop.
It would fold right back. and
See, I
yeah.
might be the only person on the planet who never owned one of those.
I didn't own one either.
I never had a razor.
I
were-
did.
I never had a razor either.
And whenever it did stop, it was great. It really does. The issue, there was two major
it
issues.
stop
with that.
unfolding?
Yeah. When it stopped where it's supposed to, I had one that just kept going. So it was a defect. They sent us back. The second one was the keypad was not the normal type of keypad that
It was flat.
It was flat. And
Yeah,
it
yeah.
did not work well at all.
Well, I know a lot of people have problems with the battery doors flying off too.
Yeah.
because it had just that one little button,
Yep,
that
a little
one
clasp.
that one little hinge that would, or not hinge, but that hook that
Yeah.
would, you know,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and so people started losing their batteries and shit. Like it got really bad. But
But they were still everywhere.
I don't know.
Yeah, they
The razor does not intrigue me at all, honestly. Do we want to talk about some wrestling?
Doesn't matter to me.
Okay. So a couple interesting
Clocking
things.
out.
Yep.
Actually, well, real quick, I was going to make a big
Go
thing
give me
about
something
this,
to eat.
but run up there and get him a drink or something. I got Jack in the.
There you go.
You
Water.
got
It's a
water.
joke.
You'll be fine.
You don't gotta go anywhere.
As we speak right now, there is an event happening on WWE Network right now that will have Dean Ambrose's final match with WWE. It is his final contractual obligation. And they called the event The Shield's Last Chapter. As far as I know, there were only 2 matches on the card. The Shield versus whoever. I can't remember who they're wrestling. And then I think Finn Balor was defending the Intercontinental Championship against somebody. I don't know. So that's worth mentioning. I mean, you know, Dean Ambrose has been in the company for a while. You know, he's a former world champion. He was part of easily, I would say, probably the most dynamic and popular stable of this decade. So worth mentioning. Dean Ambrose is going on to the next phase of his life. Don't know if that has wrestling in
We
the
don't know
cards.
if that's AEW.
Yeah.
But it's probably AEW.
Well, I would say that he'll probably take some time off, and then he'll probably end up somewhere else. That's my guess. The interesting dynamic is going to be that his wife is staying with the company, from what we understand. So
That is interesting.
yeah, so he's not leaving on bad terms. He's not bitching on his way out. It's just he feels that it's time to go do something else for a little bit. So worth mentioning. Now, this is the one that I really wanted to talk about. So AEW, and I'm bringing up something a little bit. Well, first off, Cody Rhodes' opponent has been announced. Dustin Rhodes.
The Gold Dust Man himself.
I know that one name.
Okay.
How do we feel about that?
I don't know the other one.
Is anybody?
I don't know if can Dustin Rhodes wrestle well anymore.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well then, okay, I'm good with it. I've like I said, I'm a casual fan at best, and dude's
Weren't they
fucking
like
old.
a tag team at one point?
Yeah, Gold Dust and Stardust or something.
Yeah, it was Dustin and Cody. Thing is, I think as recent as a year or two ago, he's been having some of the best matches of his career. I mean, the
Okay,
dude
then.
he looks amazing. He's in great shape. He's still willing to do things that he was doing 20 years ago. I mean, he's really, really taking care of himself. Here's the other AEW thing that we wanted to talk about. So, of course, in order for AEW to thrive, they're going to need a TV deal. Got to have a place to watch it.
Right.
The big news to come out, there was some rumors that AEW was going to have to pay for a time slot, which is not a good look.
No.
But some people have come out to debunk that, saying that the reason why a TV deal has not been announced is that people are lining up.
Oh, wow.
And it looks like the front runner is none other than Warner Media. Now, what this means is that if AEW gets a spot on TNT or TBS, it'll be the first time that there's been wrestling on the Turner Network since WCW.
That's awesome.
We went over this, Joe. It's WCW.
WCW.
That's true.
Wrestling. This is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
And one of the things that I had read that they were talking about possible strategy, pay-per-view is not really a big thing anymore. WWE essentially killed it. I think for the better. You know, their business model is fantastic. However, you know, AEW does not have the audience or the material to launch a streaming service. So one of the things that they had talked about, obviously Double or Nothing is going to be on pay-per-view, but that's really their only option. It's probably going to be more streaming, but you pay for it.
Right.
Is possibly with a Warner Media contract having a weekly television program on TNT or TBS, or, you know, one of the Turner stations, and then doing a big event every month or every other month on HBO.
Oh, neat.
That's cool.
Which is also under the Warner Media banner.
Right.
So, you know, the implications of this are actually, I mean, obviously they're historical.
Yeah.
You know, the Turner networks had a very, very long history of wrestling on their networks.
I mean, I've got HBO Go.
Yeah, there you go.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, it's a very interesting prospect.
So, question.
Yes.
Not being a wrestling guy, I don't know this answer. So, when was the last time wrestling was on HBO?
Never.
Never.
Never
that's
that I
huge.
know of. Yeah.
That could gain a lot of attention, period, for anybody that uses HBO.
Well, I think it's going to be a boon because right now, I mean, Warner Media is not doing terribly well. AT&T has all but fucked it up. I think they had a lot of really good ideas, but they're not doing well by the Warner Media. You know, I mean, they're giving a lot of attention to the Wizarding World properties, and you know, you know, obviously, it is probably going to get a lot of support because
because it was great.
Well, that, but I'm not arguing against that. I can't wait for Chapter 2.
Yeah.
But you know, we can't deny as great as those things may or may not be, you got to give attention to other things. And HBO, I mean, there's only so much Game of Thrones left.
Right. Yeah, this is the last season.
Yeah, and they're not going to have Westworld back until next year.
Right.
And I haven't heard anything about Silicon Valley, which is
I
actually
love
a
it.
pretty big.
Oh, I love that show.
I did too.
So good. So good.
Jin Yang!
I've not seen anything about it since
You just brought piss to a
TJ
shit
Miller
fight.
left the show.
Oh my God. I love that show so much.
It's
is
good.
But yeah, there hasn't really been anything since TJ Miller
Right.
kind of left.
No, even the last season was really good. What'd you
It
say,
was.
Spence?
I saw an article that said somebody actually did the math work of the hand job equation from the first season.
How good is that scene?
middle out, yeah.
Seriously.
God, dude, that was one of the best scenes I have ever seen in a TV show. So funny.
And you know they had a group of just incredibly nerdy people writing that because they wanted it to be
it was legitimate.
scientifically
Yeah.
accurate. Oh, I love that show
To
so
be on
much.
that team.
But yeah, I mean, they've only got...
I'm too stupid to be on that.
Oh, me
Yeah,
too.
no shit. Well, me neither.
I know what you meant.
You're an idiot. Anyway,
You are too.
We all are.
but you know, I mean, how many big shows do HBO have going for them now? I mean, Game of Thrones is getting ready to
It's
end.
ending, so we can already mark that off the docket.
Westworld is... That's a fairly big show, but that's not
is.
coming back for another year.
It's not Game of Thrones big.
No, but it's still big.
Right.
Anything?
Silicon Valley.
I'm a big fan of Real Time with Bill Maher, but that's not a flagship show for them.
No, it's not.
I can't think of another one.
HBO also has Ballers with The Rock.
That's true.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that one.
I haven't watched that.
So
haven't either.
So I
Oh,
mean,
it's so good.
one thing that you could do is having this opportunity to bring in a bunch of rabid wrestling fans for a monthly show, for a big pay-per-view style show.
Right.
And then having the free shows on the side, once a week.
I think they're going to do spin-offs for Game of Thrones anyways.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think there was legitimate talk for a prequel series.
I know he was not ready for it to be ended.
He said
George
that they would
Martin.
have to do, I think
Well,
he
we
said
can't wait until 2040 for him to finish
Right.
the next fucking book.
Well, this thing, he's way ahead. They're way ahead of his books now.
Oh, yeah, they have been for a minute.
Yeah, so it's really just like, what's
Motherfucker
next?
needs to quit bitch and work on writing instead.
Quit killing off people and just get
No
to work.
shit.
Yeah. I don't read the books or watch that show, so I really don't have skin in the game there. I mean, but it is going to be a big loss to them.
It will be.
I'm one of those people that just because I don't watch Game of Thrones that doesn't mean I think it sucks.
Right.
It's just not my cup of tea. I don't like fantasy or anything like that.
It's not as much fantasy as you think it is.
Yeah, I know.
Do you
but
like titties?
I've tried to watch it and I just can't get into it.
Because
Dude,
there's
I
a
can
lot
find
of
I can
titties.
find titties on the internet and,
know.
and it's over a lot quicker. But
2 minutes.
I don't need a fucking hour.
They'll just watch the porn parody.
There you go. I don't even need that. Talk about riding a dragon. But no, I don't.
Unleash the dragon.
Don't look at each other like that. That's so. You're being judgy right now.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But anyway, can we at least admit there are a lot of wrestling fans that would probably subscribe to HBO if they had that?
Yeah, no, I agree
That's
with
a good
that.
idea because I think there will be a dip. Like, people probably will cancel once Game of Thrones
Yes,
is done
I
because
agree.
that's probably what they're paying it for, is to watch Game of Thrones.
Until something else picks up, I think their subscription rate's going to go down the hole.
And I mean, there is a very, very strong nerd wrestling fan parallel. I mean, whenever you see a lot of these conventions, there's always at least 2 or 3 wrestlers on, and they get swarmed.
Yeah.
So, Game of Thrones is going away, but we're bringing in wrestling. That would be a good rebound, I think,
Well, I don't know if it'll keep the same subscribers.
I don't think it will, but it'll.
But I think
lessen
it'll
the
bring
impact.
in a whole new subset.
It'll help lessen that blow.
There will be
a
some
little
crossover people that
Yeah,
will keep it
yeah, yeah,
because you'll lose some subscribers and you'll gain some.
Right.
And I think you'll be overall less, but it won't be such a big hit.
Right.
And then maybe
And I think it's going to open a lot more revenue for them, though.
Honestly, that's a good thing about wrestling too. Is it's ongoing.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
doesn't really end.
Yeah.
And so that'll be good for their future if it starts to take off, and then they can build from there as well, building that brand, and then
Yeah. I think it's going to open a lot of opportunities for them, too.
Yeah.
I think if they go the HBO route as, quote-unquote, their pay-per-view, I think it's going to open up a lot of revenue, not just for HBO, but for the actual wrestling. I mean, it's going to... People are already subscribed to HBO. They're going to see this, and they may actually fall in love with wrestling.
people that watched Hulk Hogan back in the day,
Yeah.
but kind of fell out of it.
Well, I mean, also, Warner Media is going to be paying them for their programming.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's going to give a revenue. That's the reason why I said they can't survive without that because, one, they need the eyes.
Right.
But also, number 2, they need the revenue. They need
Yeah.
the revenue from their programming. Have you guys seen how much WWE is getting from USA and Fox this year?
No,
I have no idea.
So USA renewed Raw, obviously. SmackDown is moving to Fox.
I did. Okay.
And
I thought I saw something about
that's
that.
happening this fall. Between the two, I think I saw something like over the next 3 or 4 years, it was going to be around $1 billion.
Damn. That's got nothing on the NFL though.
Well, I know, but I mean, but think about it. I mean,
But yeah,
it's
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, wrestling is big business.
It is.
And I think that the content providers, these networks, they look at the fact that there is no off season.
Yeah,
Those guys
exactly.
are on 52
that's-
weeks a year.
That's what Justin was saying. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no in-betweens.
There's no gaps.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop. It just keeps going every week.
And it's consistent ratings.
Yeah.
Every week. They've been dropping lately because honestly the product has been somewhat piss poor.
And it could be a colossal fuck up too, but there's
Sure.
a lot of potential here.
Yeah. And I think AEW has the benefit of bringing something fresh to the table. And also, like I said, if they get that Turner money, not Ted Turner's money, it's not going to be the way it was last time.
No.
It's not going to be where they can run roughshod and just write blank checks to Hulk Hogan and Scott
No,
Hall and Kevin
no.
Nash. They can't do that shit anymore. There's a lot more oversight, especially with AT&T running them. But, there's that historical factor of holy shit. I remember being Well, take someone my age, for example. I'm 33. I remember a time when there was wrestling on the Turner networks. I was a huge WCW fan, more than a WWF fan there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like all of a sudden I get this warm and fuzzy feeling, oh shit, there may be wrestling on TNT again. I don't know why I care so much, but it's kind of cool. It's
To
kind of cool.
me, I'm not a channel focused person. I think the fact that they're coming onto TV without actually having to pay for it,
Yeah.
it's great.
Sure.
I don't care what channel. I do think that I think it's super smart that they're going HBO route. That's brilliant marketing, and it's going to soften the blow for HBO, like you were saying. But to me, the actual channel lineup is not as important as the fact that they're actually not dipping into their own pockets to get there.
The only thing with that is wrestling adds to the identity of a network, because for a long time, Raw was on USA for years, and then there was actually a 5-year period where they weren't. They were on at first it was TNN, and then it became Spike TV. And one of the things, it's now the Paramount Network. That's the channel now. The reason why they were able to transition so smoothly into Spike TV was because they had wrestling.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And they had ECW at first, and then when WWE signed, that made the ECW deal go away. ECW wasn't big enough to really make an impact there, but putting WWE's flagship program on there, that helped a lot. And for 5 years, they had this manly kind of,
the Spike TV.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Uber masculine.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now they're the Paramount Network. But they moved back to USA, and it's a big part of USA's business. I'm really kind of shocked that WWE moved away from them for SmackDown.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I agree that it's a huge identity of the channel itself. I'm saying as a consumer, I don't feel that I'm going to watch this because it's on this channel.
Well, I don't think Joe is saying that. I think he's just getting nostalgia is all it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's a nostalgia thing, but also being kind of, I'm a media freak. It's one of those little weird quirks I have. Call it a fetish. I don't know. Like, I really am interested in that kind of stuff. Whenever channels change identities and stuff, that's kind of stands out to me. So I thought that it stood out. This is something that if it goes this way, it can be historic.
Right on. Yeah.
And also, it should be noted, the son of Dusty Rhodes is starting this company, and he may bring wrestling back to the Turner Networks.
It's cool.
That's a big deal.
It's cool.
Come on.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, my final thought on it.
Yeah.
I'm in if they have Nitro Girls on there again. And then when it's on HBO, they can be topless.
I'd be in too.
But not the same ones, right?
No, not the same ones. No, but when they're on HBO, they can be topless.
Yeah, that's true.
The new Attitude Era.
The new Attitude Era.
And on that note, we're going to wrap it up. Does anybody have anything else?
No, I think I'm good.
Oh, hey, Spence.
Hey, clock
Yeah,
back
the
in.
wrestling
still
part
here.
is not really my deal.
Oh, we know.
Yeah, I know. And I'm going to try to cut down the wrestling talk as we go on.
Although,
I think it's worth mentioning.
I did see the Undertaker just signed a new deal with WWE, which, even though I'm not a wrestling fan, I did watch it when I was younger, and Undertaker was one of the huge names then.
And from what I understand, it is a massive deal because, just for his autograph signings and stuff, he is getting $25,000 an hour.
Damn.
So that Vince had to throw some serious cash at this dude.
Wow.
To keep him.
That's for him to go around to different things just to sign autographs.
Yeah, just sign autographs, take photos, meet fans.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Isn't that crazy?
That is insane.
Yeah. There's big money in that, but still, 25K an hour is still even
That's
though
chump
there is
change for most of them.
usually a wrestler.
Not most of them.
Well, not most of them. No, that's actually pretty good money
Is
for
it
a
really?
lot of them. Yeah,
Okay.
not for Taker, but for a lot of them. The thing is, usually they'll get around 15 to 20 grand for an entire weekend, which is still pretty good money.
Okay.
25 an hour.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's that. Yeah, but
He's Taker.
He's the Undertaker.
Exactly. You will never.
If only I was better at things, life would be so grand.
Like this podcast.
If only I was better at anything.
Maybe one day we'll be there where we can do a live show. Yeah, we'll never be there. Anyway.
Maybe one day you'll have enough money to turbocharge a jet ski.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, do that shit. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up. As always, check out nerdjab.com. The shirts are still on sale. Please buy one.
Yeah.
Contest
You
is still
guys said
going.
you would. We'll guilt you into this.
Yeah, no shit. I'll make you feel horrible for, No. And anyway, yeah, go to the website. I'm also on Twitter at NerdJab Podcast. One word, at NerdJab Podcast. And I'll plug myself. You can follow me at This Joe Lee on Twitter and Instagram and all that good stuff.
I don't use Twitter.
I don't either.
Okay, well, then I guess it's just me then.
Twitter.
What about Spence? You got anything?
Spence, you got anything to plug yourself?
No, I don't use Twitter or anything like that. It's just Facebook.
He does plug himself.
Go plug yourself right in the butt.
But don't forget the T-shirt design contest as well.
Yes. The deadline's coming up in 2 weeks.
Yep.
So get your submissions in. A helpful hint, since we're getting down to the wire, you can pay someone $10 on Fiverr to design a T-shirt for you. $10, and you can get free advertisement to whatever company you have or just yourself.
It's very interesting that you know that, Brandon.
Yeah. It's almost like you've done that before.
Hey, things happen.
And speaking of that,
You
my
gotta
Muff
do
Doesn't
what you
Stink
gotta
t-shirt.
do.
Muff said.
And as always, Muff said, all right, I was going to say it, damn it. That's my line. Gimmick infringement.
Cease and desist, Brandon.
That's Nerd Jab for this week. I'm Joe.
Brandon.
I'm Justin.
Spence.
Have a good week, everybody. Goodbye.
Peace.